Lieutenant Sam Miller looked out the viewport of the space station at the stars beyond. 6 months ago, those same stars had brought visitors from another world. The Galaxy Federation had arrived with their massive ships and advanced technology. And everything on Earth had changed. Sam ran his hand through his short brown hair and took a deep breath. Today, he would be the first human to fight an alien warrior in official combat. Not real combat, this was just supposed to be a demonstration, but Sam knew better. This was a test. The aliens were sizing up humanity. "You ready for this?" asked Captain Olivia Reed as she walked up beside him. Her dark uniform matched his own, with the United Earth Defense Force patch on the shoulder. "As ready as I'll ever be," Sam replied. He patted the simple gym bag hanging at his side. Inside were his chosen weapons, a pair of wooden nunchucks that had belonged to his grandfather. Olivia frowned. "You're really going through with the traditional weapons angle? Their armor is made of materials we can barely even analyze." Sam nodded. "That's exactly why modern weapons would be useless. They've thought of everything new. But something old? That might just surprise them." The station's announcement system chimed. "Lieutenant Miller, please report to the demonstration arena. The exhibition match will begin in 15 minutes. Sam took another deep breath and headed toward the arena. The corridors of Harmony Point Station were filled with humans and aliens alike. Diplomatic teams, scientists, and military personnel from both species moved about their business. Some nodded to Sam as he passed. Others whispered. Word had spread about the upcoming demonstration. The arena was actually a modified training facility. Seats had been arranged around a central ring where various types of exhibitions had taken place over the past few months. Music, art, sports all. Part of the cultural exchange program that was supposed to help humans and Galaxy understand each other better. Today's exchange would be more direct. Combat techniques. Sam entered the preparation room to find Admiral Diane Powell waiting for him. Her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her expression was serious. "Miller, I need to be clear about something," she said. "This isn't just a demonstration. The Galaxy respects strength above all else. How you perform today will affect our negotiations with them." "No pressure then," Sam said with a small smile. Admiral Powell didn't smile back. "Your opponent will be Commander Carathax. She's a decorated veteran. I've been told this is considered an honor. They're sending one of their best. Or they're trying to humiliate us by showing how easily their best can beat us," Sam said. Powell nodded. "That's my read too, so don't get beaten easily." Sam opened his gym bag and took out the nunchucks. The polished hardwood gleamed under the lights. He began to warm up, moving the weapons in familiar patterns as he stretched. A young aide rushed into the room. "They're ready for you, Lieutenant." Sam nodded and followed the aide out into the arena. The seats were filled with humans and Galaxy. The aliens were impossible to miss, taller than humans by at least a foot, with exoskeletons that shimmered with iridescent colors. Their forearms ended in clawed hands, and their faces featured compound eyes and mandibles that clicked as they spoke among themselves. In the center of the ring stood his opponent, Commander Carathax. Was impressive even by Galaxy standards. She stood 7 feet tall, her exoskeleton a deep blue with gold patterns that Sam guessed indicated her rank or achievements. But it was her armor that drew everyone's attention. Unlike the ceremonial armor some of the other Galaxy wore, Carathax was encased in what looked like liquid metal. Plates shifted and moved as she turned to watch Sam enter, adjusting to her every movement. A soft hum emanated from the suit, and energy fields shimmered across the joints where the plates met. "This is what we're up against," Sam thought. "This is what Earth might have to fight if today goes wrong." A neutral alien from the Centauri delegation stepped forward to serve as the mediator. The small, gray-skinned being raised all four of its arms for silence. "Today we continue the cultural exchange between Earth and the Galaxy Federation," the mediator announced, its translator converting its high-pitched sounds into English. "Commander Carathax has requested a demonstration of human combat techniques against Galaxy battle methods. This is a non-lethal exhibition with agreed-upon rules. Sam stepped into the ring and bowed to both the mediator and his opponent. Kirithax's compound eyes studied him with an unreadable expression. The parameters are simple, the mediator continued. First combatant to land 3 scoring hits wins. No lethal force is permitted. Kirithax activated something on her wrist, and her armor hummed louder. Additional plates unfolded from hidden compartments, and the energy fields intensified. Her gauntlets morphed, the fingers blunting into what Sam guessed were less lethal forms for the exhibition. Then she spoke, her mandibles clicking as the translator converted her words. You bring children's toys to face Galaxy battle armor? She gestured at the nunchucks in Sam's hands. Perhaps we overestimated your species' intelligence. Laughter clicked through the Galaxy section of the audience. Sam just smiled and began to swing the nunchucks in a basic pattern, letting the wooden weapons build speed until they blurred with movement. He had trained with these since he was 10 years old. In his hands they were anything but toys. These toys have been used by my people as weapons for over 1,000 years, Sam replied calmly. Sometimes the old ways have advantages. Kirithax made a dismissive gesture with her lower right arm. Your wooden sticks cannot hope to damage my armor. It is designed to withstand energy weapons and high-velocity projectiles. Then you have nothing to worry about, Sam said, continuing his warm-up pattern. Admiral Powell watched nervously from the human section. Beside her, the diplomatic team shifted uncomfortably. Everyone knew what was really happening here. This was about showing strength, about setting the tone for future relations. The exhibition will begin on my signal, the mediator announced. Both combatants, prepare yourselves. Kirithax lowered herself into a fighting stance, her 4 arms taking positions that Sam couldn't recognize from any human martial art. Her armor continued to shift and adjust, the AI systems within it probably analyzing Sam's every movement and preparing countermeasures. Sam settled into his own stance, nunchucks now still in his hands. His grandfather had always told him that the oldest tools often held the most surprises. He hoped the old man was right. Ready when you are, Sam said. The mediator raised a small device and activated it. A tone sounded throughout the arena. Begin, the mediator announced. Kirithax moved with startling speed, closing the distance between them in a blur of motion that Sam barely had time to register. The real test had begun. Sam barely dodged the first strike. Kirithax moved faster than any human could, her armor enhancing her already impressive speed. Her blunted gauntlet missed Sam's head by less than an inch. The crowd gasped as Sam spun away, using the momentum to swing his nunchucks in a defensive pattern. The wooden weapons made contact with Kirithax's armored forearm. The sound of wood against metal rang through the arena, but the alien armor showed no sign of damage. Sam had expected this. The first exchange wasn't about winning, it was about learning. Kirithax pressed her advantage, all 4 of her arms moving in complex patterns. 2 attacked while 2 defended. Sam found himself being driven back across the ring, using the nunchucks to deflect blows rather than land his own. You move well for a human, Kirithax said, her mandibles clicking in what Sam guessed was amusement. But movement alone will not save you. Sam didn't waste breath on a reply. He needed all his focus to avoid being hit. The Galaxy warrior was testing him, probing his defenses, learning his patterns just as he was trying to learn hers. One of her lower arms swept out in a feint, drawing Sam's attention. The upper right arm struck true, landing a solid hit on Sam's shoulder. The blow was controlled. This was an exhibition after all, but Sam still felt the impact through his whole body. Point to Galaxy, the mediator announced. Admiral Powell frowned from her seat. The human delegation shifted uncomfortably. First blood to the aliens. Sam rolled his shoulder and reset his stance. Nice hit, he said. Kirithax tilted her head. You do not seem concerned about losing. We've barely started, Sam replied. They circled each other. Sam kept the nunchucks moving, creating a defensive perimeter with the spinning wood. He noticed something interesting. Kirithax's armor responded to each movement with tiny adjustments. Plates shifted microscopically. and energy fields intensified where she anticipated attacks might land. The armor was adaptive, responding to threats before they arrived. That meant it was predictive. And anything that tried to predict could be fooled. Carathax attacked again, this time using her lower arms to try to grapple while the upper arms struck. It was a clever tactic that would have worked against most opponents. But Sam had spent years training against multiple attackers. He slipped under her guard, swinging the nunchucks toward her midsection. The armor plates there instantly thickened, energy fields intensifying. Sam's strike bounced off harmlessly. But he had seen what he needed to see. The armor predicted where attacks would land and reinforce those areas, which meant other areas might be momentarily vulnerable. Before he could test this theory, Carathax caught him with a sweeping kick. Sam tumbled to the floor but rolled back to his feet quickly. "Point to Galaxy," the mediator announced again, 2 points to 0. One more and the match would be over. The Galaxy section of the audience clicked and chittered in approval. Their champion was making quick work of the human. "Your species shows admirable resilience," Carathax said, her tone almost respectful. "But your weapon cannot penetrate my armor. Perhaps you should yield before the final point." Sam smiled. "You know, Commander, there's an old Earth saying, it's not over until it's over." Carathax's mandibles clicked rapidly. An admirable sentiment, but incorrect in this case. Sam began moving the nunchucks in a different pattern now. Traditional kata that involves seemingly random changes in speed and direction. The wooden sticks blurred as he increased his pace. The Galaxy commander watched cautiously, her compound eyes tracking the unpredictable movements. Her armor shifted constantly, trying to anticipate where a strike might land. Sam attacked, but not with the straightforward strike Carathax expected. Instead, he feinted high, then low, then changed direction mid-swing. The nunchucks moved in patterns that seemed chaotic but were actually precisely controlled. Carathax defended well, her forearms and adaptive armor blocking or deflecting each attack. But Sam wasn't trying to score, yet he was confirming his theory about the armor, and there it was. Each time the armor predicted an attack to one area, resources shifted away from other areas. There was a pattern, a rhythm to the way the suits. AI made decisions, and like all patterns, it could be exploited. "Your movements are interesting but ineffective," Carathax said. "Is this the best combat Earth has to offer?" Sam didn't answer. He was counting in his head, timing the armor's responses. 3 seconds. That's how long it took for the system to reset after making a major predictive adjustment. Carathax launched another attack, confident in her impending victory. This time, Sam didn't retreat. He stepped inside her guard, moving closer rather than farther away. The move surprised her. All 4 of her arms moved to grapple him, and her armor shifted to reinforce her front where she expected Sam to strike. Instead, Sam spun completely around, the nunchucks extending out behind him. The wooden weapon struck the back of Carathax's knee joint, a spot where the armor had thinned as resources shifted forward. The impact wasn't hard, but it hit exactly where the armor was weakest. The wood connected with a sharp crack against the underlying material. Carathax stumbled, clearly not expecting the blow or the location. "Point to Earth," the mediator announced, surprise evident in its voice. The human section of the audience erupted in cheers. Admiral Powell leaned forward, her interest renewed. Carathax regained her balance and turned to face Sam, her compound eyes fixed on him with new intensity. "A lucky strike," she said, but her tone had changed. There was no dismissiveness, now only focus. "Not luck," Sam replied. "Observation?" The Galaxy commander's posture shifted. Her armor hummed louder as systems adjusted, learning from the successful attack. The energy fields covering her joints intensified. "Observation will not save you," Carathax said. "My armor adapts. It will not allow the same weakness twice." Sam nodded. "I'm counting on it." They began to circle again. The score was now 2-1. Sam was still behind, but he had shown that the seemingly invincible alien armor could be vulnerable. Carathax attacked with renewed purpose, her movements more controlled, more precise. She wasn't underestimating him anymore. Now she was fighting him as a worthy opponent. Sam felt the change and smiled. The real battle was just beginning. Admiral Powell watched with growing interest as the human and aliens circled each other. Whatever happened next would shape how the Galaxy viewed humanity not just as potential adversaries, but as a species worthy of respect. Sam twirled the nunchucks again, creating that same unpredictable pattern. He had found a weakness in the aliens' technology. Now he just needed to exploit it one more time. The arena fell silent as Sam and Carathax faced each other. The score stood at 2 points for the Galaxy. Commander and 1 for Sam. 1 more point for Carathax would end the match in alien victory. 2 more points for Sam would give humanity an unexpected win. Sam kept the nunchucks moving in unpredictable patterns. His grandfather had taught him that the true power of these weapons wasn't in their striking force but in their unpredictability. The eye cannot follow what the mind cannot predict, his grandfather used to say. Carathax studied Sam's movements carefully. Her armor hummed and shifted, plates sliding into new configurations. The energy fields covering her joints now pulsed with greater intensity. "Your armor is learning," Sam said as they circled each other. "Yes," Carathax replied. "It analyzes attack patterns and adapts. The weakness you exploited no longer exists." Sam nodded. "That's impressive technology. The most advanced combat system in the Galaxy fleet," Carathax said with clear pride. "It has protected me through 17 major engagements." Sam kept the nunchucks moving. 17 battles and you've never lost?" "Never," Carathax confirmed. Her mandibles clicked in what Sam was beginning to recognize as confidence. That was useful information. If she had never lost, she might not know how to handle losing. Sam filed that thought away as he prepared for her next attack. It came with frightening speed. Carathax lunged forward, all 4 arms moving in perfect coordination. Her upper arms struck high while her lower arms swept low, creating a nearly impossible situation to defend against. Sam dropped to the floor, rolling beneath the high strikes. The nunchucks extended out, aiming for the same knee joint he had struck before, but the armor was ready this time. Extra plating had formed over the joint, and the energy field there intensified as the nunchucks approached. Sam's strike bounced off harmlessly. Carathax spun with surprising agility for her size. One of her lower hands grabbed for Sam's ankle as he tried to roll away. The crowd gasped as her clawed gauntlet closed around Sam's boot. With a powerful jerk, she pulled him toward her. Sam didn't fight the motion. Instead, he went with it, allowing himself to be pulled directly toward the alien commander. As he slid across the floor, he swung the nunchucks up toward her head. Carathax's upper arms moved to block, and her armor reinforced around her head and neck. The nunchucks hit the thickened plating and rebounded, but Sam had expected this. The real attack came from his leg. As he was pulled toward Carathax, he bent his knee and then kicked out hard, striking at the alien's midsection, a spot the armor had just thinned as resources moved to protect her head. His boot connected solidly. Not hard enough to injure, but definitely a scoring hit. "Point to Earth," announced the mediator. The human section erupted in cheers. Admiral Powell allowed herself a small smile. To match was tied. Carathax released Sam's ankle and stepped back. Her compound eyes fixed on him with what might have been surprise. "You understand the armor's patterns," she said. It wasn't a question. Sam rose to his feet and resumed his fighting stance. "All technology has patterns. Patterns can be predicted. My armor has faced energy weapons, projectiles, and blades from a dozen different species," Carathax said. "None have exploited its adaptive nature as you have." Sam kept the nunchucks moving. "Most weapons are predictable. These aren't." 4. The first time, uncertainty showed in Carathax's posture. Her armor systems were designed to predict attacks and defend against them, but the nunchucks moved in ways that seemed random, making prediction difficult. The arena was completely silent now. The next point would determine the winner. Carathax's armor hummed louder as it increased power. The plates shifted again, creating a more balanced defense rather than trying to predict where attacks would come. My armor is now in full defensive configuration, she announced. It no longer attempts to predict your attacks but provides equal protection to all areas. Sam nodded. That made sense if prediction wasn't working, switch to overall defense, but that strategy had its own weakness. By protecting everything equally, nothing was protected exceptionally well. They began to circle again. Sam could feel the tension in the room. This wasn't just about him and Carathax anymore. This was about Earth and the Galaxy Federation. About whether humans deserved respect in the eyes of these advanced aliens. Carathax attacked first, but more cautiously this time. Her movements were controlled, designed to keep Sam at a distance where her longer reach gave her an advantage. Sam let her set the pace for a moment, watching how the armor moved in this new configuration. The plates shifted less dramatically now, maintaining a more consistent defense. The energy fields were visible but less intense than before. After studying her movements, Sam made his decision. He would need perfect timing. He allowed Carathax to drive him back toward the edge of the ring. The alien commander pressed her advantage, clearly thinking she had him trapped. Sam let the nunchucks hang loose at his side, seemingly defeated. Carathax moved in for the final point. Just as she committed to her attack, Sam dropped to one knee. The alien's strike passed over his head. In the same motion, Sam whipped the nunchucks upward in a figure-8 pattern that no computer could easily predict. The wooden weapons struck in rapid succession, first at Carathax's left side, then her right, then left again. None of these were the real attack, but each one forced her armor to shift resources slightly. Then came the true strike. Sam brought the nunchucks down hard on the command module at the base of Carathax's neck, the one spot where the armor couldn't fully protect without restricting her movement. The hardwood connected with a sharp crack. Not hard enough to damage the module, but enough to register a clear hit. Carathax froze. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the alien's armor began to power down. The plates stopped shifting. The energy fields flickered and died. Warning lights flashed across the surface of the suit. System reset initiated, came an automated voice from Carathax's suit. Combat mode disabled. The arena was silent. Point to Earth, the mediator finally announced. Human victory. The human section exploded with cheers. Admiral Powell stood up, unable to contain her smile. The diplomatic team exchanged excited glances. Carathax stood motionless as her armor slowly rebooted. When the systems came back online, she straightened her posture and turned to face Sam. That was unexpected, she said. There was no translation for the clicking sound her mandibles made, but somehow Sam felt it conveyed respect. Sam bowed slightly. Your armor is impressive. I got lucky. No, Carathax said firmly. Not luck? Strategy. You saw a weakness no one else has ever exploited. She stepped forward and extended her upper right arm in what Sam recognized from the briefings as a Galaxy. Gesture of respect between warriors. Sam tucked the nunchucks under his arm and took her offered hand. The crowd fell silent again, watching this unexpected moment of connection. The Galaxy respects strength and skill, Carathax said loudly enough for everyone to hear. Today humanity has shown both. From the viewing area, Admiral Powell and the diplomatic team exchanged meaningful glances. This small victory might have just changed the entire dynamic of their negotiations with the Galaxy. News of Sam's victory spread quickly through Harmony Point Station. By the time he returned to the human quarters, everyone was talking about it. Crew members he had never spoken to before stopped to congratulate him. Some patted him on the back. Others just nodded with new respect in their eyes. I didn't expect to become famous, Sam told Olivia as they walked toward the diplomatic section. Admiral Powell had called for a meeting to discuss what happened. You beat their best warrior with a pair of wooden sticks, Olivia said with a smile. What did you expect? Sam shrugged. I just did my job. Your job changed how the Galaxy see us, Olivia replied. Before today, they thought we were weak. Now they're not so sure. They arrived at the meeting room to find it already full. Admiral Powell sat at the head of the table. Around her were the top members of Earth's diplomatic team. They all looked up when Sam entered. Lieutenant Miller, Admiral Powell said. Please take a seat. Sam sat down, feeling uncomfortable with all the attention. He placed his gym bag with the nunchucks on the floor beside him. "The Galaxy have requested another meeting," Powell said. "This time with their High Commander. Your demonstration made quite an impression." Sam nodded but didn't know what to say. He was a soldier, not a diplomat. "They want to know more about our traditional combat methods," Powell continued. "Apparently, Commander Carathax has been telling her superiors that we have fighting techniques their technology can't easily counter." "That's not exactly true," Sam said. "I just got lucky with the armor's weakness." Dr. Eric Jordan, the lead scientist on the diplomatic team, shook his head. "It wasn't luck, Lieutenant. You identified a fundamental flaw in their adaptive systems. Something their engineers never considered." "Which is?" Olivia asked. "Unpredictability," Dr. Jordan explained. "Their armor is designed to analyze patterns and respond to them. But the nunchucks move in ways that seem random to their predictive algorithms. It's a simple solution to a complex problem." Admiral Powell nodded. "And that's exactly why the Galaxy are interested. They respect practical solutions." "So what happens now?" Sam asked. "Now," Powell said, "we use this opening to improve relations. The Galaxy have invited us to visit their flagship tomorrow. They want a cultural exchange focused on combat traditions." Sam raised an eyebrow. "And you want me to go?" "UNA. Small team," Powell confirmed. "This is a rare opportunity. No humans have been allowed on their flagship before." Sam looked around the table. Everyone was watching him with expectation. He hadn't asked for this responsibility, but now it was his. "I'll do my best," he said. "Good," Powell replied. "Because there's more." She tapped a control on the table and a holographic image appeared above it. The image showed a star map with two fleets positioned near each other. "This is our current situation," Powell explained. "The Earth Defense Fleet here, and the Galaxy Third Fleet here. We've been at this standoff for months." Sam studied the map. "The two fleets were dangerously close to each other." "What does this have to do with me?" he asked. "The Galaxy believe in trial by combat," Dr. Jordan explained. "They settle many disputes through demonstrations of skill and strength. Your victory has opened a door for us to potentially resolve some of our differences without military conflict." Sam looked at the nunchucks in his gym bag. "You're saying my grandfather's old weapons might help prevent a war?" "Stranger things have happened in diplomacy," Powell said with a small smile later that evening. Sam sat alone in his quarters, thinking about everything that had happened. He took out the nunchucks and examined them carefully. The polished wood showed signs of wear from years of practice. His grandfather had given them to him when he was 10 years old. "Start with the basics," his grandfather had told him. "Master the simple things first. The complex will follow." Sam began a simple practice routine, letting the wooden weapons flow through familiar patterns. The movements calmed his mind. A chime at his door interrupted his practice. When he opened it, he was surprised to find Commander Carathax standing there. Two Galaxy guards stood at a respectful distance behind her. "Commander," Sam said, uncertain how to respond to this unexpected visit. "Can I help you?" Carathax's compound eyes studied him. Without her armor, she seemed less intimidating, though still impressive. The iridescent blue of her exoskeleton caught the light as she moved. "Lieutenant Miller," she said. "I hope I am not disturbing you." "Not at all," Sam replied. "Would you like to come in?" Carathax entered his quarters, ducking slightly to fit through the human-sized doorway. Her gaze fell on the nunchucks in Sam's hand. "You were practicing," she observed. Sam nodded. "It helps me think. May I?" she asked, gesturing to the weapons. Sam hesitated, then handed them to her. Carathax examined the nunchucks carefully, turning them over in her clawed hands. "Simple," she said, "yet effective, much like your species." Sam wasn't sure if that was a compliment or not. "Thank you, I think." Carathax handed the nunchucks back to him. "I did not come here to exchange pleasantries, Lieutenant. I came to warn you." Sam's expression grew serious. "Warn me about what?" "Tomorrow you will visit our flagship. she said. Not everyone in the Galaxy fleet is pleased about this. Some believe I should not have lost to a human. Are you saying I'm in danger? Sam asked. Karathax's mandibles clicked rapidly. Not directly, but there will be challenges. Tests of your abilities and your character, more fights? Sam asked. Perhaps, Karathax said, but not all battles are fought with weapons. Some are fought with words and actions. She moved toward the door, then paused. There is a faction within our military that believes humans are too unpredictable to be trusted. They fear what they cannot predict. Like my nunchucks, Sam said, understanding. Karathax nodded. The High Commander is curious about your species now. This is good. Curiosity can lead to respect, and respect to peace. And the faction that doesn't want peace? Sam asked. They will be watching you closely tomorrow, Karathax said. Be careful, Lieutenant Miller. Much depends on what happens next. With that warning, she left. The door closed behind her, leaving Sam alone with his thoughts and his grandfather's nunchucks. He resumed his practice with renewed focus. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. He needed to be ready. In the diplomatic section, Admiral Powell was reviewing the latest intelligence reports when Olivia entered. The team is ready for tomorrow's visit, Olivia reported. Lieutenant Miller seems a bit overwhelmed, but he'll be fine. Powell nodded. He'd better be. This visit could determine whether we end up with a war or a peace treaty. Do you really think the Galaxy will respect us because one human beat one of their warriors? Olivia asked. It's a start, Powell replied. Sometimes that's all diplomacy needs, a small opening, a chance to show who we really are. She looked at the star map, showing the two fleets. Let's hope Miller's nunchucks are as effective in diplomacy as they were in combat. The Galaxy flagship was enormous. As the human shuttle approached, Sam stared out the viewport at the massive ship. It was shaped like a curved blade, its hull shimmering with the same iridescent blue as Karathax's exoskeleton. Smaller ships moved around it like busy insects around a queen. Impressive, isn't it? Admiral Powell said, joining Sam at the VIEWPORT. Sam nodded. Makes our biggest ships look like toys. Size isn't everything, Powell replied. Remember that. The diplomatic team consisted of 5 people: Admiral Powell, Dr. Jordan, 2 security officers, and Sam. They all wore formal Earth Defense Force uniforms, except for Sam, who wore his combat uniform. At Powell's insistence, he brought his nunchucks. We're being invited because of what you did with those, she had explained. The Galaxy respects symbols of strength. Their shuttle docked with the Galaxy flagship. As the airlock opened, Sam took a deep breath. This was history in the making, the first official human delegation to visit a Galaxy command ship. A group of Galaxy waited for them. Most wore the blue and gold of the military, their exoskeletons polished to a high shine. Their forearms were adorned with symbols of rank and achievement. At the center stood a Galaxy taller than the rest. Unlike the others, this one's exoskeleton was deep purple with silver markings. The translator identified him as High Commander Zextral, leader of the Galaxy Third Fleet. Welcome to the Fist of Valor, Zextral said, his mandibles clicking as the translator converted his words to English. It is an honor to host representatives of Earth. Admiral Powell stepped forward. The honor is ours, High Commander. Thank you for this opportunity, Zextral's compound eyes fixed on Sam. And this must be the human who defeated Commander Karathax. Sam stepped forward and bowed slightly. Lieutenant Sam Miller, sir. You brought your weapons, Zextral observed, looking at the nunchucks hanging from Sam's belt. As requested, Sam replied. Zextral made a gesture that the translator didn't catch. 2 of the Galaxy officers stepped forward. These are combat Masters Vexcor and Trilzer, Zextral explained. They are eager to learn about human fighting techniques. Sam glanced at Admiral Powell, who gave a small nod. I would be happy to demonstrate, Sam said. Zextral led them through the ship. The corridors were larger than those on human vessels, designed for the taller Galaxy. Everything had a blue-green glow that Sam found oddly calming. They arrived at a large training area. Several Galaxy were engaged in combat exercises, their forearms moving in complex patterns as they fought with staff-like weapons or bare hands. All activity stopped when the High Commander entered. The Galaxy warriors stood at attention. Today, we learn from our visitors, Zextrel announced. Lieutenant Miller will demonstrate human combat techniques. Sam moved to the center of the training area. He could feel dozens of compound eyes watching him. He removed the nunchucks from his belt and began a simple warm-up routine. Letting the wooden weapons flow through basic patterns, the Galaxy watched in silence. Sam increased the speed and complexity of his movements, the nunchucks becoming a blur around his body. He finished with a series of strikes that echoed through the room. When he stopped, there was silence. Then Combat Master Vexcor stepped forward. "Impressive control," Vexcor said. "But can such weapons be effective against modern armor?" Sam smiled slightly. "Ask Commander Carathax." A ripple of clicking sounds laughter passed through the gathered Galaxy. Carathax herself was not present, but her defeat was clearly well known. Perhaps a demonstration against one of our training units? Vexcor suggested. At his signal, a section of the wall opened. A robotic figure emerged, similar in shape to a Galaxy but clearly mechanical. Its surface gleamed with the same material as Carathax's armor. "This unit is programmed with our latest combat protocols," Vexcor explained. "Its armor uses the same technology as our elite warriors." Sam understood what was happening. This was a test and likely one designed for him to fail. The training unit would not have the same weaknesses as Carathax's armor. It would have been reprogrammed based on their previous encounter. He glanced at Admiral Powell. Her expression was neutral, but her eyes conveyed a clear message. "This matters." "I accept the challenge," Sam said. The training unit moved to the center of the room. Its four mechanical arms extended into fighting position. Sam took his stance. Opposite it, nunchucks at the ready. "Begin," Vexcor commanded. The unit attacked with lightning speed. Sam barely avoided the first strike, rolling away as mechanical arms swept through the space where he had stood. This opponent was faster than Carathax had been, and its movements were less predictable. Sam defended himself, using the nunchucks to deflect blows rather than attack. He needed to understand this new opponent before he could defeat it. The unit pressed its advantage, forcing Sam back across the training area. Its armor shifted and adapted just like Carathax's had, but with greater speed and efficiency. Admiral Powell watched with concern. Dr. Jordan leaned close to her. "They've improved the armor's response time," he whispered. "They learned from yesterday's defeat." Powell nodded. "Let's hope Miller can adapt as well." Sam was thinking the same thing. The old patterns wouldn't work against this new opponent. He needed something different, something the Galaxy wouldn't expect. As the unit attacked again, Sam dropped to the floor. Instead of rolling away, he slid between the unit's legs, striking upward with the nunchucks as he passed beneath it. The unit spun with surprising agility, its lower arms grabbing for Sam. He barely escaped its grasp, but now he had seen something useful. The unit was fast, but it was still following patterns based on Galaxy fighting styles, which relied on their four arms. Sam had two arms, but he had something the Galaxy didn't: human unpredictability. He stopped retreating. Instead, he moved directly toward the unit, entering the range where its longer arms should have had the advantage. But Sam didn't fight as a Galaxy would expect. He moved differently, breaking all the patterns the unit was programmed to recognize. The nunchucks became extensions of this unpredictability, striking from angles the unit couldn't anticipate, moving in ways its algorithms couldn't process. A strike to the side, a sweep behind the knees, a spin that brought the nunchucks against the unit's neck joint. Each hit landed where the armor was weakest at that exact moment. With a final, precise strike to its command module, Sam sent the training unit crashing to the floor. Its systems flickered and went dark. The room was completely silent. Then High Commander Zextrel began to click his mandibles together in what Sam now recognized as applause. The other Galaxy joined in, the sound filling the training area. "Remarkable," Zextrel said. Even against our improved programming, Sam bowed slightly. Technology is impressive, but it can't replace adaptability and unpredictability. Zextral approached Sam. You have shown us something important today, Lieutenant Miller. Something we had forgotten in our reliance on technology, he turned to address Admiral Powell. I believe it is time for our diplomats to meet. There is much our peoples can learn from each other. Powell smiled. I couldn't agree more, High Commander. As they left the training area, Vexcor approached Sam. Your wooden weapons, he said. They are called ... Nunchucks? Sam nodded. Yes, they're very old. My grandfather taught me how to use them. Old does not mean obsolete, Vexcor said. That is a lesson we needed to learn. Later, as the human shuttle departed the Galaxy flagship, Sam looked back at the massive ship. Something had changed today. A small demonstration had opened the door to understanding between two very different species. You did well, Admiral Powell told him. The diplomats are already discussing a formal treaty. Sam looked down at his grandfather's nunchucks. Not bad for a pair of wooden sticks, Powell smiled. Sometimes the simplest tools are the most effective both in combat and in diplomacy. As their shuttle headed back to Harmony Point Station, Sam thought about his grandfather. The old man had always said that true strength wasn't about having the most advanced weapons, but about understanding how to use the tools you had. Today that wisdom might have helped prevent a war.